Hey, TK, welcome to the podcast.
What's going on, Chris? It's good, brother.
Everything is good. As you can tell, TK and I are friends, and we were friends back in college 20 years ago. And what makes these relationships special from the people I went to college with is the fact that we came from the same beginnings. We know how difficult it is to complete our portfolios. We had late nights and the struggle to get our careers going. But today, TK is the head of HBS Media, a promotional products company here in Dallas, Texas. And before we start, TK, where can people see your work?
You can see the company work at www.hbsmedia.net. And you can see my personal work at hustlalaughterlife.com.
Okay, this first question, I thought it'd be fun. All right, so it'd be multiple choice. And here's the question. When you were a student back at the Art Institute of Dallas many years ago, and your dreams of what your career would look like, and knowing what you know today, would you say, A, your career ended up like what you thought it would be? B, it surpassed what you thought it would be? C, it went a different route than you thought?
I want to say A and C.
Okay, let's follow up on that.
Some of it kind of landed up how I kind of wanted it to be. The end goal was to be able to either really get a good job in the field or be able to freelance or run my own business one day, doing creative work and getting paid to do it. And then there's some aspects of it that I didn't think would ever happen. So that's kind of that, because the promotional products portion, I never thought I'd be into, but that's probably the best part of what I do, because I like designing merch for people and for myself. So that I never planned. But everything else kind of sort of, I guess, it kind of went according to plan. But I mean, that's life. So it never goes according to how you think it's going to go. But in general, I'll say this, I hit pretty much most of the marks I thought I was going to hit.
You're talking about all the check marks that you wanted to accomplish as a professional. You hit most of those?
Yeah, I'm probably at about 85, maybe 90% at those. I always wanted to design for a sports team or collegiate or whatever. Hadn't done that yet, but I did some stuff. I did the logo design for this running club. It's like one of the third largest running clubs in Dallas, the Dallas Running Club here in Dallas. I did their logo market, which came out really cool. And at the time, I didn't know they were that big. It was a friend of mine that was a neighbor who was part of the running club with me. He said, hey, we need a new logo. And so, and TK, I know you do logo design work. And I had the opportunity to do that one. And then that was like the first logo I did that was published in Logo Lounge as like volume 4 or volume 5. And I was pretty proud of that. So that was the first time I got like some real work recognized as far as logo work. So yeah.
Let me follow up on what you were saying about you chose A and C. So it ended up what you thought it would be, and it also went a different route than you thought. You obviously run HBS Media. Give us a history on how your work history looked like, and where did that switch and you decided to go full-time as a promotionals company?
Okay, so when I first started, so when we finished school, before we had graduated, I always knew I wanted to run my own shop. But part of that was I wanted to work at like one of the best agencies so I could get good, because I wanted to do more ad work. And then when we was in school, I figured that I found that I was pretty good at logo design. Didn't really understand why I understood certain things when it came to logo design. So it kind of went in that direction. So I was like, okay, I either want to make enough money to where I can either get a good job at an agency somewhere, or I can at least freelance. Because I know at the time we got out of school, the market was kind of bad. As far as like, hiring for like designers at the time. This is like 2001, 2002. So, which is kind of, I definitely aging us since we've been out of school for 20 years. But, and that didn't seem like that long. But, so I wanted to get a job. So I worked at a few agencies. And so when I was working at, so I take it back. I freelanced for a while, for a couple of years. And then I got an agency job at an agency they're currently called Ansira, but at the time they were called Raven. And so when I was there, I kind of got into doing screen printing and promotional products. And so when I had a chance to go to one of the trade shows, for the promotional product side of the business. I was like, man, this is a lot of stuff out here, and I didn't really know. So it was kind of cool as a designer because it was like, okay, I could design all this stuff, but what do I sell? Excuse me, what do I sell, like the customers and clients? And so I kind of had to kind of step back and I go, okay, well, I'll just focus on promotional products that line up with branding and design. And so I was like, you need a logo, you have to put it on stuff. So you put it on uniforms, obviously like business cards, you need it for your web presence. You need event marketing things like trade show booths, table code and stuff like that. So I kind of kept within that realm. And so I got laid off 4 years later. So that was like 2011. And so when that happened, I just kind of went all in. And so I didn't even realize promotional products was even a thing. Other than, you're designing for the agency. And so, you're designing for this stuff. But then I realized like everything's a promotional product, like from t-shirts to caps, to headwear, to pens, mugs, like everything's a promotional product when you sit back and think about it. And so when I got into that world, it was like, oh man, okay, I just like putting my logo on people's stuff and, and being able to I was part of that. So I never thought I'd be doing that at all. And the funny story is when I decided to go to art school was because a buddy of mine knew I could draw. His aunt owned a promotional products company at the time. And so he said, hey, I got a friend that can draw. And so I go to this interview and she was like, well, hey, do you know how to use a computer? And at the time it was probably like Illustrator 2 or 3. So, I'm dating myself. and so I was like, no. She said, I love your drawings, but we need somebody that knows how to draw. And so after that kind of inspired me to kind of actually go to art school in the first place. So, like in hindsight, promotional products got me into where I am today anyway, without even knowing it.
This leads me to my next question. Why don't you tell everybody what HBS Media does, right? And what services you provide your clients so there's no confusion there. I want them to know exactly what the services you provide them when they partner up with you.
Okay, so at a core, what we mainly do, we specialize in branding and promotional products and custom apparel. So the logistics in what we do daily is most clients come to us either they need like a logo for their brand, and we'll do some of the collateral items as well. But for the most part, most people come to us like logo design and creating their branding. Then the second portion is, hey, now your logo is created, now you have to put it on stuff. So as part of the whole branding process, you're going to need uniforms. We kind of tackle that from like t-shirts, polo shirts. You may need aprons if you're running a restaurant. You may need headwear. Then you may need custom apparel. Then the other portion is the promotional products. And because that varies, because there's so many promotional products, I'll kind of slim it down. So like if I was branding a restaurant, for example, say you start from the head to toe. So uniforms for staff, for management. You may need menu items. So we're designing like things for the menu. So we had a prep production for that. If you need email marketing, we may design some elements of that, some social media elements. You're doing giveaways for maybe sign up for giveaway for clients, or let's say you're doing like a sign up program. First people sign up, they may get a free handbag or a tote bag or something like that. So it kind of goes hand in hand to that for that. So we would do more tchotchke stuff than we would probably graphic design at a time because we're doing a lot of startups. So sometimes they don't know how much marketing material they may need. But for a nutshell, it's mostly just branding and promotional products, and customer promotions and marketing.
How do you advertise your company? And this is my perception from afar. You are really successful in pairing up with the community. Like I see you doing a lot of stuff here in the Metroplex. I could be wrong. I know you probably have some national clients in another place, but I see you working a lot in this area. Is that something that you strategically decided to do, or did that just organically just happen?
It was more organic. I get a lot of word of mouth clients, and I do a lot of social media marketing in general. So I kind of post on what we're doing. I share a lot of the processes. On my personal social media, I share a lot of the process. Like, hey, this is what I'm working on. I had a cool idea. I get excited about something. I'm kind of sharing that with either potential clients or just friends in general. I have a pretty big following. I have a nice size following, I guess, not compared to a lot of YouTubers or whatever. But so that portion. And then most people in general know me for logo design above anything else. Like if they're going to think of anything, hey, as a designer, they think logo design and t-shirt design a lot when they think of my name. So, and that kind of happened organically. And then on the business side, I do a lot of social media marketing like Yelp and Google. I use a lot of Yelp and Google My Business to get clients. So we get a lot of business through that end as well.
When I was a college student, I remember that was one of my favorite classes, was the logo classes. And when I graduated college, I said, that's something that I want to do a lot of. And after 20 years, I think I've only done maybe less than 25 logos. Maybe you can talk about a little bit how many logos you have done.
Okay, so
do you have that count?
So this was funny. So I'm updating my portfolio now, and so I have like 10 more logos I have to add. Yeah, I have 10 more logos I have to add. So I calculated I have about 5 volumes of logos. So I have about 90s I've designed over the years.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and again, I never thought, and when you go back and look at the work, it's like, when did I design all this? It's just kind of weird to see that, but I just remember, like, you gotta remember, like, okay, I remember staying up late for this one, and I remember this one took me like 3 months to knock out, and this one took like 15 minutes, and you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of weird to think that I did that much work in so amount of time.
And when it comes to logos or any kind of work, I have my favorite pieces, right? I know it's hard. It's almost like choosing your favorite children, or but if someone told you, or someone asked you to show you 3 of your favorite logos that represent your style, what 3 do you send?
Dallas Running Club will be one, and I'll list them and then I'll kind of go back into why each one is kind of my favorites. So Dallas Running Club will be the first one. The second one will probably One Kingdom Radio. And then the third one would be, you're right, they're all my babies, so it's kind of hard to pick which one. And then the third one, I don't even know right now. So I'll stick to 2 to keep the conversation kind of moving. So that's
not to cut you off. I like your Skills logo. I've seen that around.
Oh, Skills was fun, and Skills was fun when the reason why Skills was fun. So me and the client went back and forth on what we were going to do for it. So Skills Driving, they teach safety driving courses mainly to fleet drivers. So like UPS drivers as a group. Any company has like fleet drivers, like trucks and the big trucks or whatever. So they teach Skills Driving with that. And then they do senior driving, and they do a teenage driver license course or whatever, like student driving courses or whatever. So we were talking, and I'm trying to always figure out, okay, what's the one thing that defines this company? Because your logo isn't your business. It's just that current market when people see it sparks, what the business is about, what people are doing, and anything else. So I said, what? The best thing to represent your business is a cone. And they were like, I don't know about that, TK, cone. And they would give me some ideas. I said, no, think about it. Everything around your business is derived around a cone. You have to drive, make sure people can park, make sure people can go to these courses. I had to show them different examples of things. And I broke that down to them. And they said, well, TK, I guess you're right. So we go in, we designed the logo and presented them. And we do some mock-ups of how things will look, and then they went ahead and agreed, this is the logo, this is the mark, right? So I was going with the whole, the driving cone, right? And so I think like a month later, the owner called me, and she was like, TK, I'm so glad I listened to you about the cone. Like, everybody loves the logo, they see it, we go to trade shows, they just get it. And I'm like, yeah, like, I don't make it up because I think it's my opinion. It's like I do the homework and I research like what makes you stand out from everybody else. And that's what I've always tried to do. Like, what are the one things or the subtlety in the logo that makes you know, okay, this is this business. So Skills was always a fun one because I had to really use my sales skills to kind of persuade them this is the right direction above anything else. Dallas Running Club was my favorite because this is the first one I got pretty large recognition for it. In terms of it was a really, really large size company that I did the logo for, for national recognition for. It got voted in the logo lounge. I was excited about that. And so that was always cool because that's kind of it's still that moment when you make history, like in sports, here's my stat that I did, nobody else can do, right? Yeah. So it was kind of like that. So that's why I'm kind of proud of that one. And then again, I'm all about subtleties. And if you ever seen the logo, you're listening, so it's like a star with a guy running in it, but the way the guy's positioned, it forms a star. And so I just like a little subtlety like that. When I do logo design, it's like a little small thing. They go, huh, okay. Like it should play like a little mind trick on you. If that makes sense. So there's like I see this image, but then if I kind of look again, I see a secondary image again. So that's always kind of been my style with designing.
Yeah,
that's always my approach. That's always my approach.
That at Dallas Running Club, you guys, the listeners, you should really stop by his website and take a look at. He's giving you insight on how his thought process and designing these logos. And the Dallas Running Club, I just love the way you even stylize the runner himself. The way you have him elongated horizontally, look like he has a long stride. It's just a really cool logo. And again, you guys check out. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely check out his website so you can check out his favorite. Yeah, One Kingdom Radio and the Dallas Running Club. And I kind of threw down skills in there because I see that around here. And I like that logo as well. And nothing looks awesome when you have like black mixed in with another singular color like orange. So I've seen this even applied, not just in a logo, but I've seen it in like in their mobile trailer. I've seen this in different places, and it's really executed quite well. Let me follow up on one thing that I've always known about you. And I know we're friends, but I'm not part of your day-to-day. I don't hear a lot of things about what you do every day. But I've always felt, when I think of TK, is that you're always about positivity and motivation. And I noticed that you have this mantra, this apparel line that always says hustle, laughter, and life. Please tell us more about that.
Okay, so I don't know if I'm always so positive. I guess I've always just tried to be okay. Despite all things, there has to be a silver lining. Like, it could be worse. I guess it's kind of like that. So I just try to figure out, okay, it could be worse. I could be doing this versus doing that. So I just try to stay in that lane. So the whole hustle after life was kind of like my journal philosophy. I kind of generated that a little bit after I left Razor. So maybe it's probably been about 7 or 8 years ago I came up with that. And so what it was is, so the mantra is this. The motto is this: I hustle hard to live the way that I want to. I laugh as much as I can, as often as I can, and I understand that life is short, so enjoy it while it lasts. And so those three principles I kind of just apply in my daily life. The things that I want out of life, they're not easy to attain. If it's anything worth a meaning anyway, they're not easy to attain. So whatever lifestyle you want to live, just know that hey, there's just certain sacrifices that have to be made to accomplish those things. The whole laughter part, again, there's just so much craziness in the world. There's so many reasons to be down, or so many reasons to be sad, or to kind of give up. So despite all that, how do I just, try to keep the energy to kind of stay motivated? And so that's kind of where that comes from. And then the whole life is short. I mean, it just speaks for itself. I mean, just think about it. Chris, we've been out of school 20 years, and look at all the work we've done. It's like, where did that time go? And so, you think about it, like I'm 43 now. Like I was 24 when I graduated, and like I still feel the same as far as like my attitude and my energy. Like my bones don't pop, but like it really, really flies by, and you have to take advantage of like all your opportunities when you get them. And so I've always just kind of be focused on that. I hang out with people, and I try to. So like it amazes me. I see people with like a lot of blessings in their life. And I'm like, why are you sad about that? You still have this, right? You know what I'm saying? And Chris, I'm kind of a very spiritual person, and not to get too deep into that, but it is what it is. So, it's all perspective. You know what I'm saying? As a whole. And so the whole hustle after life thing has always just been about, and this is me every day. Like I'm hustling hard to live with somewhere, to be able to just create, be compensated well for, but at the end, just always be able to be in a position where I can create something cool, whether it's a logo, it's merchandise, it's creating content or whatever for people, and helping people in their business endeavors. And then, like I say, the whole laughter part, like, smile when you can, like enjoy it. Like if you wake up this morning, you win. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody didn't wake up yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So that's always in perspective. And like I said, the whole life, and again, the whole life thing, like life really is short. And so, like say, enjoying your loved ones and your family, and and the opportunities you have, take advantage of them. Because again, like this COVID thing happened, bro. It changed the world. So, you got to be grateful that, despite you got to wear a mask, at least you're walking around, and you're not like in a box somewhere. Like a lot of people didn't, they had a bad reaction to COVID. You know what I'm saying? So stuff like that. So it's just perspective for me. So.
Yeah, it's funny you say perspective because I do see a lot of people that either see the glass half empty or the glass half full. When I watch you from afar, you're somebody who, like I said, is always motivated and talented. And you'd send me, once in a while, we won't speak for a while, but you'll send me some stuff like, hey, Chris, you should really watch this. And it's some business guy talking about his or her perspective on being successful. And where's that thing come from, that thirst to learn more and grow your knowledge?
So one thing, so like I said before, when I was in art school, I was determined that I wanted to work at an agency, and I wanted to do more print advertising as a designer. And so, like I said, things changed. I found out logo design was actually my gift, I should say. So I kind of just went in that direction or whatever. So I was always trying to know, I got to know these things so I can be the best, right? So, and I remember taking a Photoshop class, and there was the class was like really big on like using hotkeys. And I'll never forget this, and I can't remember the guy's name. He taught print production. The guy with the beard, I can't think of his name right
Benson?
now.
Benson?
Yeah, Benson. And he was kind of a. I got to know him a little bit later. His demeanor, he's kind of a quiet kind of guy, but I got to know him later and open up. He seemed pretty. He'd been like a cool, pretty guy. But anyway, in his class, he always kind of emphasized the hotkeys working. And I remember, I don't need this. And I remember not doing well in his class because I know his hotkeys. And I'd always said to myself, I won't ever not do well because I don't have the knowledge. Like, people might out-strategize me. I'm cool with that. Like, I should have thought of that, and they did. I'm cool with that one. But if we have the same knowledge, you're not gonna beat me. So I've always been determined to be like that. And so I was always okay, well, when it comes to Photoshop, I want to know everything about Photoshop so I can focus on being a good designer. Or like with any project, what are my limitations so I know how to think differently to be the best I can be at it. And so, and I hate being in situations where I've been in plenty of meetings, bro. Like, I've been in plenty of meetings where if I don't know something, it makes you feel kind of small when people know things you don't know. And I never try to act like I know everything. Like, because I learn every day. I don't know anything. I'm learning all the time, so I know more, but I don't know anything. And so I'm always trying to know. So I like to tell people, I don't want to argue with people about being right. I want to make sure when I speak, I'm never wrong. You know what I'm saying? And what little bit I may know about something, I don't ever want to think foolish. So I just try to determine, like, let me know as much as I can. So let me know as much as I can about Photoshop. Let me learn more tricks as a designer. Let me learn different techniques. Let me learn how to think differently, to approach certain problems. And so I just try to just read a lot and try to just know things so I can always go. And then a lot of times I had a lot of no's in life just on my journey, like trying to build a business and try to do other endeavors or whatever. And people just, and sometimes people had time to tell me information, and sometimes they didn't, whether it was a good reason or they were jealous or whatever reason. I still needed the information. So I didn't let not people give me information stop me. So I just always thought, well, since I needed to move forward, let me figure out how to get the information. So, and now it's easy because I got Google, so I don't have to ask many people because I got Google now and stuff like that. But, at the time, there was no Google. So it was like, let me go find a book. Let me go find somebody that can help me get this problem solved so I can move forward. And I always got to move forward because I'm always thinking, I know I can get it done. It's just, I got to just find the information. I don't know. It's like sports. I want to win, so let me do everything I can that's in my power so I can figure it out, I don't know.
That's a great answer, and it made me think of this because in school, they don't talk about this part of being a professional, which is relationship with the client, how you speak to them, how do you make them feel at ease, how do you get the client to trust your advice and trust your creative directions?
How do I get them to trust me? So I think the first thing is you have to just listen to the client. We live in a world where everybody wants to be heard. Regardless if you have a bad idea or not, people just want to be heard. So I try to always make sure I understand what the client wants, and I try to repeat that back to them. And so they understand that I've heard what they said. And one thing I always try to do, and I explain this to clients, is like, you have an idea what you want to do. I have an idea what I think should be done based on my experience, and I try to mesh those two things together. So when they understand that I know what they want, so once we have our initial meetings and we have our kind of follow-up meetings, whatever, I can go back when I'm working. I can say, she kind of brought this up, or he brought this point up. Are these elements there? I know I want to do this. So like when I talk to students, I try to tell them, like, your work, the design work isn't about you. It's about what they want. But you have to get them to understand that you know what they want, and your experience will help them get there. And so helping them understand that, they feel more comfortable, because again, if they feel like, okay, this guy understands, this company understands, hey, you know what? They know I want this element to be in there. They know I want this part of it there, and they know I want it to look like this. And part of that too, making sure you help the client understand what their goals are. A lot of people will come to me, and it's not just a business. I mean, it's kind of like a general life rule. A lot of people want to do a lot of things, but they haven't sat down and say, if I can make this work, best case or worst case, what 2 or 3 things have to happen regardless, right? If I can't get 10 things, how do I get at least 3 of them, right? And so when you help them establish their goals that they haven't really thought about, then they feel like you really care about what they want. And then at that point, it's kind of easy to get them to trust you. And then at that point, once they trust you, you got to just deliver. So that's kind of how I've been able to get people to trust me. And then I read a lot of books on psychology and human behavior that help me kind of make people feel comfortable first. And a lot of that is asking them questions that make them feel comfortable sharing answers with you. And again, it just goes back to listening. I might sit back and listen for like 30 minutes to an hour before I even kind of get to speaking on things. Because people don't really care about what you think. They just want to know that you heard them and that you care, which is very, very true. And so when the clients feel like that, I think then it's either for them to kind of share their information with you. They get the sense that you care and that they can trust you, that you will do what you say you're going to do for them.
That makes me want to follow up on the times that in the past we used to pair together and go to trade schools and speak to students. And I really appreciated that you would invite me, and so we can give back in some way to the future generation of designers. Can you talk about a little bit about what advice you would give an aspiring young designer that is trying to break into the industry, and the things that helped you become successful?
To be successful as a designer, I normally give students what is one main advice. Now, there's a couple of several, but the main one is this. And this is just general advice I always give to anybody. When people tell me, hey, TK, I want to do X, Y, Z, or here's my business idea, I want to do X, Y, Z. Understand what you got to give up to get it. I don't think that's the thing a lot of people get. They always hear work hard and hustle hard. I think working hard is not a problem for a lot of people. It's realizing what you got to give up to get it. There's time. I always stress when I was still like, listen, my closest friends are just as good as me, if not better. Like you, Chris, Fabio, Julius, whatever. Like we're within our own skill sets, we're like really, really good at what we do, or above average if anything else, right? And then on top of, you could chunk a rock and find somebody just as good as a designer, right? But what element singles you out to make people want to work with you versus like everybody else? And so knowing what you have to give up to make those things possible. Like for example, I had to study who are the best designers based off the type of artwork that I like, and study how they think and how they approach without copying their work. You know what I'm saying? I had to understand all the elements of branding, from logo design, web design, promotional products, event marketing, giving them time, there's time. And again, I'm not saying like this because we're not doing like brain surgery here, but then again, to master what you do, you really got to understand what you got to give up. If you want to build an agency, right? What are you doing to give up to learn how the structure works? How are you learning how to be a better business person in that world? If you want to paint, as an artist or whatever. Because I mean, a lot of people that like general artists, practicing artists, but they want to get into graphic design. Like, well, what are you willing to give up to be as good as you want to be? And when you can establish that one, you can do whatever you want to do. But a lot of people don't want to really do that. Like if I told you, hey, one day out the week you can't spend with your kid because whatever, but it'll make you this good, and as a byproduct, you could do more for your kid, would you be willing to give that up? And that's something, that's like a general question you have to ask yourself as far as like to be as good as you are in any craft. You know what I'm saying? Not just being a designer, just the mastery. You know what I'm saying?
But you've said something there that is very interesting. You got to be willing to go through some discomfort and sacrifice certain things to get to your goal. No, that's really interesting, which leads me to, I really want to know your background. Like, I don't know this at all, and this is going to be interesting. Even as friends, I don't know this. How did you find your way into wanting to be in the creative career? Is that something you wanted to do even as a young child?
Oh, yeah. I wanted to get paid to draw since I was a kid. Like, I remember just being this. So when I was in, like, 2nd or 3rd grade, I remember. So it's funny. This guy taught me how to draw. I thought, oh, man, that's pretty cool. How do you do that? And so he was showing me. And so and he didn't really like show me like a bunch of stuff. He just would just draw some. I just watched him how he drew it. So I would just kind of replicate some stuff he did. Right? We're talking like 3rd, 4th grade. As I got older, like first day of school, people get brand new clothes. They get brand new pairs of shoes. Mm-hmm. So I was like, hey man, let me draw your shoes. They like take the shoe off and I like sit on my desk and I would like try to draw the shoe, whatever, right? So as a kid, I wanted to do one of 3 things. I wanted to get paid to draw because I like to oohs and ahs. I was like, oh man, how do I make money drawing as an adult? I don't know how. I don't know what job to go into, but that's what I wanted. I wanted to be a comedian, right? Because I was a big Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor fan, and I wanted to be a shoe designer. You know what I'm saying? And so because of that, again, they all kind of come together. Like the comedian side is funny because I have a lot of comedian friends now, stand-up comedy friends, and so we kind of laugh and joke and do stuff like that. And even think about from just the public speaking part, when you're talking to people, there's a way you have to hold people's attention. So there's like a storytelling element like comedians do, and make people feel comfortable and want to hold on to your words. So that's kind of those traits that I kind of study on comedy to kind of help me do public speaking, helps me with that. And then as far as the drawing part, it's nothing cooler than like you design something and you get this idea and you create it and then people pay you for it. Like I did Design Running Club, like people pay me for my ideas. And so as a kid, when I used to get the oohs and ahs from people seeing me draw, like, oh, gee, that's so cool. Can you draw me something? You translate that to an adult to make a living doing it. So yeah, since I was a kid, bro, I've been wanting to draw and get paid to do it. So I just lucked up, man. I really lucked up and figured out how to do it.
Let's expand on that. Let me ask you this question. What's the best part of your job, your career?
Best part is, okay, so I used to have a goal. I'll tell you 2 things. So I used to have a goal that if I could make the client curse after they see the work, I did a good job. like if they kind of, I'm sorry, I don't want to be the curse on this, but if it's like, damn, TJ, that came out really good, man, we didn't expect that. Like if I get them to kind of get out their comfort zone and like do that, I know I did a good job. And I've been able to do that on several occasions, which makes me good. And the other part is, and Chris, I'm a big fan of your work. It's kind of like when you go to like an environment. So when you create something from a conversation, just a general conversation, you go on a computer, you make it visible, and then you finish production, and it gets created, right? And then you're out in the real world, and then you see it, and it's like yo, that came out of my brain. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was trying to figure out how to do this. I was stressed about coming up with this idea, and boom, I got it. And now you're in the real world. So I give you an example. One time, me and Father was working on a project. We were freelancing together at the time, and we hadn't worked at the agency yet. And I did some sports marketing projects for this Prairie and A&M game, a Cotton Bowl game they have here in Dallas, historical black football college game they have here in Dallas every year. And so we did all the designing and the branding, but we didn't have a print production for it. And so we just kind of sent them the artwork files, whatever. And I remember I was catching a train somewhere downtown, trying to save money, like everybody else. And I'm sitting at the corner, and a bus pulls up with a banner on it. You don't expect to see the bus drive up with your stuff on. You know that it's going to be on there because you send it out, but you don't see it until you see it. And that's always cool and exciting as a designer. Like just when I see my work in the real world, or the first big project I did some sports posters for SMU here in Dallas. And I remember I did it for the basketball team for like 2 seasons. And so the first year we did it, I remember working in the sandwich shop. And, you walk in there, you see like the Stars poster, the Stars calendar, you see Cowboys poster with the Cowboys schedule. And I see the SMU basketball team, Mustangs, poster that I had designed, with it. And I'm just like, that's pretty cool. Like, when your work is set in another place, so it's kind of surreal that your work is out. I mean, that's the same feeling I had as a kid. Like, when people go, "Ooh, TK, that's so cool. Can you do this for me?" So the fact that I can still enjoy that as an adult, that's always fun for me, bro. That's probably the best part. I started getting paid to come up with the ideas.
You're right. That never gets old. And the insight, right? What it took for you to design that, and the background to it. And now it's out there and it's out in the world. And you kind of shape the way people see the world, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, your designs can shape the way you see the world. Like, for instance, that Skills logo. Every time that thing pops up and somebody looks at it, it always affects and evokes emotion in people. And that's a powerful thing, and it's a blessing to be able to do that and have that type of career. So that's really interesting, TK. Let's kind of wrap this up. I want to really know what your future plans are. Like, what do you define success? Where do you want to see HBS Media go in the future?
All right, so as far as the future, so probably like around last year, we kind of took like a small bit of a financial hit, so I kind of had to let some staff go. I mean, everybody still works as a contract work, freelance help, but I'm trying to get back in a better position. We're gonna have mostly everybody back on the creative team in a way, because we have print production. Those guys are still good. I still have those guys in place. But I would like to bring my team back and maybe expand on that to kind of, bring in some more designers. That way I kind of focus more on business. If necessary, I can focus on growing a business. Probably that. On the personal side as a creator, I want to do more merchandise. So like on my personal side, I have an online store. And the funny part about the online store was I didn't plan on doing an online store. It was kind of more of a, hey, I needed a way to do something personal to kind of break up because I was working a lot of hours. And so I thought, okay, well, every day or every other day, I'm going to stop for 2 hours and do a T-shirt design, right? So I get some ideas with some stuff. I kind of write them down. And my list got pretty long. And so I started designing a shirt a day. I realized that over like a period of like a month, I ended up doing like 30, 40 designs, just out of happenstance or whatever. And so I thought, I think I'll just throw them on a store. Right. And so I would like to design more merch, because of the promotional product stuff and what we do. I'd like to design more just cool merch just because I have access to doing it. I'm not really, it's awesome if I could sell like 1 million units a year, that would be awesome. 10,000 units a year, that would be awesome. But I get a kick out of just designing and seeing that in circulation. And so, I go, hey, Chris, you gave me a cool idea for something. And like I said, I went back to the lab and I kind of mocked it up, sketched some stuff out on paper, scanned it in and did it, and kind of made it a tangible thing. And so I want to do more creative stuff like that. And also, I kind of want to do some more design for good stuff as well. So like recently, actually, I kind of put out a social media post that I wanted to design a T-shirt for breast cancer awareness for October. And so I'm doing like a Cancer Sucks T-shirt. I'm doing a research for it right now. And so I'm trying to find somebody to partner with that we can. So whatever the sales are, I just want to partner with some people, and I'll donate half the proceeds to them or whatever. But just do more creative for good stuff like that, because it gives me a chance to kind of do some things out of my element, something for a good cause, and more things like that. Because it's fun to do it, and again, I have access to doing it, and I don't want to waste. So I'm really big on like not wasting my God-given talent. So I can say, hey, I can exercise those things, and so I want to do more creative projects like that. And again, like I say, kind of just expand the business as well as like the creative team, so we can kind of do more creative projects, and more branding projects, of course, obviously.
And do you want to share with us? I know that you have a Kingdom Radio or a podcast. I know you have other future projects that you're wanting to launch. Is that too soon to mention?
No, go ahead.
You're probably the best person to tell us a little more about like these future things that you're planning. I don't know not much about Kingdom Radio, but you haven't mentioned it yet. Maybe that's something you wanted to promote.
Okay. So, and I know I did mention One Kingdom Radio is one of my favorite logo designs, but that I did. So One Kingdom Radio is so it's a Christian hip hop internet radio station that I've been doing for a while. We traditionally started off in a podcast format, me and two other guys, and it's actually this past Sunday is our 7-year anniversary. And so right now I'm rebranding everything because I'm the brand marketing manager. So I'm not going to tell myself knowing the creative process. So that's always fun. But so right now we're getting ready to launch a 24/7 internet radio station, like just playing dope Christian hip hop music, right? And then the other portion of that is doing outreach in the community. So that's kind of that. I've done some of my best creative work for that project because again, it's helping me serve other people. That's what's been good, and I'm excited about that. So hopefully that'll be launched in the next couple of weeks. And as you know, I mentioned to you before, I'm getting ready to launch a podcast for Hustle After Life. The main purpose of that is to talk a lot about creative business, business in general, like, things that you should be doing, giving advice on that, just my wins and my failures from that. Talking about side hustles for people who may not want to be an entrepreneur, but, they have a gift to bring in extra revenue, through their skill sets or whatever. So we'll talk a little bit about side hustles, things you can be doing, how to do things a little bit better, from a brand perspective, of course. And then the other thing is living your best life. And that's kind of be the main focus of that podcast that I'll be doing. And I'm really excited about that one because I guess give me a chance to kind of talk to people about branding and design, meet entrepreneurs. I'm real big on if you're the smartest person out of all your friends, you need new friends. So this gives me the opportunity to kind of meet some people who I admire just from a hustle, laughter, life mentality that inspire me, that I think may inspire others, whether it's in business or just living a better life. I have friends who have a great job, living the way they want to live, and they don't mind having a job. I have some friends who are self-employed. It's a day-to-day grind, and they're having fun. So the whole purpose of our podcast is kind of just inspire people to, hustle hard the way they want to, have as much as they can, as often as they can, and remember life is short. So just something that inspires them. So those are two major things I kind of got going on right now.
Fantastic, TK. We will look forward to that. And where should people get that information when you're actually announcing that those things are about to start? Is that through your mostly Instagram social media site, or is it through your website?
So I'll promote that through the website. Again, that's hustlelaughterlife.com. You can find the merch, you can find about the podcast, find all the blogs, posting on that one. And then as far as social media, my personal is your boy TK. That's YABOYTK. Well, I promote a lot of my day-to-day life stuff like that. I'll kind of announce on there. And then there is a Instagram account I have for Hustle After Life, which is, as the name goes, Hustle After Life on Instagram. And so the difference between the two the difference between two Instagrams, my personal Instagram is my day-to-day, sharing my day-to-day hustle and showing creative work that I'm putting out. On Hustle After Life, the Instagram, that's kind of more inspirational posting. I might promote, just some quotes, some cool design work on quotes, some video content, stuff like that. I'll do snippets from the podcast on there as well. But it's just mostly that kind of an inspirational page. So that's kind of those two work. But if you go to either one of those or go to the website, you can follow me on there. You'll get insight either way on either one of those.
That's fantastic, TK. I want to thank you for sharing us your creative story and your journey. I'm appreciative of our friendship. It's been 20 years, and I always champion my friends and their ideas, and I'm the first one to applaud them when they do something fantastic and something successful. And I'm also the type of friend that is proud of you, and also it inspires me to keep on doing good things. So thank you again, TK, and hopefully we can get you back here as a future guest as well.
Oh, brother, thank you for having me, and I definitely appreciate our friendship. I'm always a big fan of your work, and when I have the podcast, you definitely got to be a guest on there, so we can talk about you. I know you're kind of a real humble person, so that's always one thing I admire about you. So we'll talk about you on our podcast, and I'm grateful for your friendship, brother. So thanks for having me, bro. I'm excited, and I'm gonna be following your podcast. I'll help promote it as well. So thanks a lot, brother, for having me on.
Thank you, and I will look forward to that. All right, everybody, take care and goodbye.